Hello, I'm Dr. Eve. Welcome to the Sexual Health Center. Managing conflict is a challenge many of us don't face very well. Working with couples, I watch them on this couch all day long, really messing up the communication and how they manage conflict. And it's understandable, because where do we learn how to manage conflict unless we go for business courses on conflict management? And then we don't even translate them into our own intimate spaces. Being in an intimate space is incredibly heated. It's a space of such intimacy where there is so many dynamics that are going on at the same time that there has to be conflict. You've got two individual people with two different opinions that may like each other's opinions, but they're going to headbutt. They're going to get into a deadlock situation every now and then. And unless you're an evolved adult person who can stand very solidly in themselves and be able to communicate in a respectful way, it's seldom that conflict is going to be managed in a really good way. Things for you to look out for in your own conflict management is something that John Gottman refers to as the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. When these 4 horsemen begin to gallop into your relationship, you really have to hold up the stop sign and say, you know what, we really are in trouble and we need to go for some consulting. So consider them in your own relationship. The first one is going to be criticism. When you start to criticize your partner or your partner criticizes you, and it'll be stuff like, you never do that, you always do that. It begins to feel very sarcastic and very critical, and a person will say, you're always criticizing me, I feel like I never do anything right. That'll be the first horseman, criticism. Then it becomes contempt. That's the second horseman who gallops in. Contempt is when there's name calling, when there's a putting down of you, either privately or in public, when the person will say, I don't like your accent, I don't like the way that you talk, or I think that you're really stupid, you don't cook very well, you don't parent very well, you always are running around with your friends, you really are a lazy person, you really don't know how to work with money well. When it begins to get to contempt, then you're in trouble. Slowly but surely the third horseman will come galloping in, and that third horseman is called defensiveness. And that's when you find yourself defending yourself, or the partner defends him or herself by saying, but, the butting story, but I didn't, but I will, but I always. And when you get into that position, you feel like you're up against the wall and you have no place to run. And automatically the fourth horseman is going to come galloping in, and that'll be stonewalling. And that's oftentimes when people come into therapy, is when you have just shut down. You may be physically present, but your emotions have left. You have emotionally detached from the relationship and you have gone somewhere else. You may not be cheating, although that's one choice where you may go to get comfort, but you have emotionally detached, and with time you physically and sexually detach as well. So in order to manage your conflict, you want to stop it when the first horseman comes galloping in, which is criticism. The moment you find yourself being very critical, the moment you find your partner being very critical, you want to stop that and say, we're in trouble. Let's go before we get into further trouble and the relationship just gets more awkward and goes downhill further. For more information about managing your conflict, visit my website, or else follow me on Facebook and find me on Twitter.